So before we get into the chapter, I just want to note, because people were saying that Sailor wasn't done, she was going to get up after that sucker punch from Elfman. She didn't get up. Sailor's done. She's out the question, And people were trying to say, well, anybody that gets sucker punched would get knocked down. And my response to that, if Cell was sucker punched by Goku in the back of the head, or if Madara was sucker punched by Choji in the back of the head, they're not going down. And yeah, Sailor getting sucker punched, I still stand by what I said last week. Now, actually, quite a bit went down in this chapter. For starters, one of the main things is the ending of this chapter. Our last hope is Lucy Heartfilia. Never thought I'd see the day. So we get some characterization for the Demon King Marday, and for the most part, he seems like he just really despises humans and looks down upon them. He sees them no different from bugs, and he was disgusted with Kyoko basically playing with Erza, even though she was torturing her, but in his eyes, it was playing with her, and that hurt him on some level, so he started torturing her, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, why do we have this hentai-looking scene in this where she's just like wrapped up, tied up, and it's like, oh yeah, we know the intent of that particular part. And while it gives characterization to Marday that he is just like a sadistic nut job, because because she was torturing her, even though that wasn't playing with her, you felt like she was fond of humans and that hurt you, so you have to torture her. Logic. And maybe it's just me, but a big chunk of this arc is really starting to feel like the Majin Buu arc from Dragon Ball Z, in a sense, because one of their big missions now basically is that they want to revive End. All of this has been for End, using Face, everything has been for End, and we find out in this chapter that they don't have enough in order to revive him. They need to wipe out all of the magic of what's around, and that definitely reminds me of like Majin Buu against Dragon Ball Z, where they needed a certain amount to revive him, and also them getting caught in the belly of the beast reminded me as well, when people were getting sucked up in Majin Buu and Goku and Vegeta were inside of the belly of the beast. So definitely kind of resembled that, if any arc that I could think of, and I was just getting that vibe from it. And it wasn't like, rip-off or anything like that, but it was just giving me that sort of vibe, except it was like a demon type of thing. It really makes you wonder what is up Marday's sleeve if he said, this is just one point, like, we ain't down. Yeah, okay, we couldn't do Face, we couldn't get rid of the magic that way, but it's gonna get rid of, we're gonna get rid of the magic regardless of what. So it's like, okay, was this whole Alegria thing going to be the answer to what he was looking for regarding getting rid of the magic? Definitely, it shows that Marday, he's a smart guy, he's a tactician, he's sadistic, so a lot of good characterization for this guy. You could definitely see that at the very least he was second in command. If, their lord is End, and then of course they all wanted to be under Zeref, so he's either second or third in command, because I guess no, it would be technically Zeref at the top, then it would be End, then it would be him, so he'd be like third, this Marday guy, but nonetheless, he's looking a lot better than most of the other ones, because I mean he's torturing people for being dumbasses, and I'm liking where this Marday character is going. I mean, he's truly giving a villainous vibe. He's like, yo, they sullied my garden, like I'm not having this, and he's just really is giving off these sadistic ways. Hero just decided, hey, let me make one of these fodder fairy tale characters that you almost never see relevant again, and we're gonna use his telepathy to have everybody connected. And I was just like, okay, we never really get these characters, but fuck it, right? So in a sense, it gave everybody understanding of what's going on, who's still around, and is everyone all right? And Hero, every arc, he just gets worse and worse with this Lucy fan service. Now Lucy is pretty much, she just has like a piece of cloth covering her nips and tits, and I'm like, my God, Hero, you just really want to give people a boner, don't you? Like, that's your ultimate goal. Like, Lucy Heartfilia, give a boner to everyone in a 10-mile radius. And I was correct in my assumption that pretty much the light Hades was talking about was indeed Lumen Histore, because that's pretty much what Makarov immediately thought when they said, release the light when Happy told him. So now, I'm imagining he would have, had he not got caught in Alegria, that would have been his next step. So now, Lucy has to pretty much, at the very least, get Makarov, if anything, because if Hades' warning was release the light, that's the best thing we could do, then I'm guessing that Lucy has to go for Makarov. If anybody, go for the headmaster first. First of all, why not go for the strongest so that he can help you, but also so that you can immediately get back to the guild and release Lumen Histore. That way they can have a fighting chance for whatever the light can do. It makes you really wonder, what is Lumen Histore? Is it just a light that evaporates all demons? It'll just like cleanse all demons? Will it stop all evil in the world? What is Lumen Histore? And it always makes me go back to Hades and just what the fuck was his problem? Why did he end up going rogue? Yet now he's coming back in a ghost form and trying to help out for the good guys. So it's like, what went up his ass to make him go rogue? And now the positives of Alegria is that it's definitely doing something different. It's not having everybody still around for the most part. Now again, we only have Lucy left to fight off everybody, which that in itself is a good and a bad, because like it's doing something different. It's not having all the fairy tale there. Ready, let's go with fairy tale. But at the same time, it becomes problematic in the sense that Lucy, big titty Lucy, is our last hope. Like, it's good also in a sense of, okay, this could be the time where Lucy will finally get her moment. I've been saying this for like, I don't know what, 2 years since I've started reviewing Fairy Tail. I started reviewing Fairy Tail like February of 2012. I've been saying this for over 2 years. Lucy needs her moment, especially since the time skip. She hasn't had her moment. Also, it's a good time to get redemption against Minerva. So in a sense, it's good. But realistically and logically and just in a practical manner, how can she possibly stop all these people on her own? Even with all of our celestial spirits, if she summoned all of them, can she really do it and it makes sense? Because at the end of the day, while it could be a good thing and it could give Lucy that moment we've all been waiting for, it needs to make sense in order for it to happen and be, you know, a logical thing and just overall in addition to Lucy's character. So that's what kind of got me nervous. Like, yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for Lucy to shine. But at the same time, what the fuck? You know, it's Lucy. Like, big titty Lucy really gonna stop everybody? But one of the interesting things that this chapter does is it gives a little bit of a glimpse into exactly how strong Silver is. Because if everyone pretty much got sucked up into Alegria, everyone is pretty much done in Alegria, yet Silver pretty much finds this curse to be boring, and he's just looking down on it. How strong is Silver? And what, again, like, I really can't wait to find out what's his connection to Grey. That's one of the mysteries of this arc that definitely had my interest at the very least, because it's like, he finds this curse that sucked nearly everyone up and has them all petrified and frozen. Boring. And also, I want to know why the hell Lucy was the only one that was able to escape from Alegria. Was it because she just got lucky? Was it the one magic? Because remember, Silver sent something prior to her being, like, you know, thrown out or tossed out or getting out of there. So was it the one magic? Because remember, she said a while ago, the one magic. Maybe it's love or anything like that. So it could have been that. It could have been something else. Again, her connection with her mother. Her mother was probably, like, you know, an incredibly strong person. So I'm imagining that she has something innately in her that can help her to get out of there, and that's probably what helped. Either that, or with one of these people's last breath, not so one of them helped her to escape, which, again, why would you, out of everyone, why Lucy, the one person, like, one of the weakest in Fairy Tail at the end of the day? She still has her moves, Udonometria, her spirits or whatever, but one person, Lucy, against everyone, the odds ain't looking all that good. So overall, the good that this chapter did, it gave great characterization to this guy, Marday, the King of Demons. Set up pretty much what their major goal is. They want to revive N so they can ultimately go with Zeref. Also, the progression we got, it went from everyone is having their fights to now it's pretty much one survivor left trying to stop everything. But at the same time, it did do some negatives in the fact that it interrupted some of the fights that we still had going on. We still had Gray's fight. We still had a couple of fights going on, and they pretty much got tossed out the window. Especially at this point, like, I don't even care about Erza versus Minerva anymore. It got interrupted yet again in this particular chapter. So I'm like, at this point, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, we know Erza's gonna pwn Minerva in the end anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't even care about that fight anymore after this chapter. Like, just fuck it. And there's a positive and a negative at the end of all this, and the fact that Lucy might get her moment, but it needs to make sense, because if it doesn't make sense, and it's just some bullshit like, oh, I love, so therefore I defeat all, it's gonna be ridiculous. So I'm hoping Hiro has a plan to make all of this come together in a proper way. I mean, for the most part, aside from like the endings of fights, he has been doing decent job with the storytelling of this arc, so I'm hoping he could do something justice with this whole thing of Lucy being the final sole survivor to stop Tartarus. Taking everything into account where fights got interrupted, yet it did do good progression and good characterization, I'm gonna say this chapter was a 7.5 out of 10. It was a good chapter, had a couple of little issues here or there. Overall, I'm still a little bit peeved over the Sailor defeat, and pretty much it just was completely thrown in this chapter. It's like, okay, yeah, she's done, that's it. So yeah, that's where I stand with this chapter. Good stuff. I'm hoping for the best with the Lucy stuff, but I'm expecting probably a disappointing thing, because how can Lucy stop all of Tartarus by herself? Let me know what you think of the chapter, though. Do you think Lucy has a shot in the dark of doing this? Is it going to be some BS? Do you have any idea? Maybe she'll go and open up Lumen Histori herself? Or, you know, what do you think is going to happen? Also, how strong do you think Silver is if he thought that that curse, Alegria, was boring? Just your overall thoughts of the chapter. Well, that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for that ending, because it could go either way. It could be a very good addition to Lucy's character and accomplishments, or it could be some BS. ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.